Hello and welcome back to Today in the NBA, where today we're going to be going over the three most surprising players out of Summer League. Now, I don't want to include any rookies here, as if I did, it would probably be filled with rookies. First up, we have Julian Champagnie, who was drafted last year by the San Antonio Spurs. This Summer League, in 3 games, he's averaged 26 points, 7 boards, 2.7 assists, 1.3 steals, and 1 block, on 46% from the field, 44% from 3 and 84% from the line. Julian Champagnie has been really good. He was making those Spurs teams look unstoppable before Victor Wembanyama arrived in town. I think that next year he's definitely going to be able to earn some good rotation minutes last year. Considering he played almost 20 minutes a night last year, I think. He could probably go up to, I don't know, somewhere around 30. Maybe being the 6th man or the 7th man. I don't think he's going to be starting over Devin Vassell or Keldon Johnson, but still, I do think he will be heavily featured in the Spurs rotation next year. Now, to me, Julian Champagnie has been such a surprise because he didn't really show a lot last year. He got the chance to show it, playing almost 20 minutes a night, as I said before, but he didn't really show a lot, so that's why I was so surprised when he came out and just started averaging 26 points on pretty good efficiency. Next up, we have the Lakers sophomore, Max Christie, who's been averaging 21.3 points, 5.7 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 0.7 steals, and a block on 54, 62, 95 shooting splits. Now, I can't really tell if this is Max Christie just being too good for Summer League, or if he's just having a good few games shooting the ball. Coming into the draft, Max Christie was someone that we thought would be able to knock down the 3 ball and play defense. He was more of a 3-and-D player. But this Summer League, he has been a dynamic scorer, getting inside, getting to the mid-range, catching and shooting, creating on the perimeter. He has been a really, really good offensive player, and he's been solid defensively. He hasn't been amazing, but he's definitely been able to hold his own. That's why it was such a surprise for me when Max Christie started doing what he was doing, because he wasn't really looked at to be someone who could be a 3-level scorer, more of just a 3-point shooter. Now, next year, I definitely think Max Christie could get some good minutes on that Lakers roster. Maybe coming off the bench as the 7th or 8th man, a good shooter, someone that can play defense, and if you need him to, can create and run a pick and roll. Sort of like what Austin Reeves was at the very start of the year. Now for the final player, we have Tre Mann from the OKC Thunder, who was drafted, I believe, a top 20 pick last year. Now, Tre Mann has been averaging 20.5 points, 4.8 rebounds, 4.3 assists, 1.8 steals, 0.3 blocks on 54, 43, 77 shooting splits. Tre Mann has looked like a dominant scorer this Summer League. Coming into the draft, this was definitely what he could be. Someone that was a great scorer, probably wasn't that good of a passer. He played a point guard, but that was only really because he was 6'3". This Summer League, he's shown a great ability to run the show and pass the ball. I was very surprised when I watched his first couple games, as he has made strides in his development as a passer. Last year, he definitely showed off that he had a nice handle and he had an ability to get hot, but this Summer League, I don't think he's been hot. I think he's just been shooting so well. He's got a great handle, a great shot form. He's really good at those step backs and those pull-ups, and when he gets to the rim, he's a great finisher. He doesn't really use floaters well, but he does have a nice mid-range game in him, and he's pretty good at finishing through contact. Along with that, he's also a pretty solid defender. And one thing that you've got to talk about when you're talking about Tre Mann was that absolute monster of a poster dunk that he had. If you ask me, if that happened last season, that's probably a top 3 dunk. I don't think it's as good as Aaron Gordon's one, but that was an absolutely amazing dunk. Tre Mann has been such a surprise for me this Summer League, as I didn't really think he'd be able to handle the role as a primary creator, but he's done that amazingly. Next year, I definitely think he could get some backup shooting guard minutes, as they've got their starting point guard and shooting guard set with Shai and Josh Giddey. Their backup point guard's probably Cason Wallace, but I can definitely see Tre Mann sliding in there as maybe the 7th or 8th man on the roster. Who knows, he could even be the 6th man. But he'd probably play shooting guard, being less of an on-ball creator and more of an off-ball player. Anyway, that does it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.